Paul says that if we want to be saved by keeping the law, we would have to be 100% righteous, right? Remember what I said, the test is pass or fail. There's no makeup exams, and it's 100% or failure. Man, 99 ain't good enough on this test. Man, in school, if I made a C, man, I'm going home. I'm shouting to mom and daddy, and daddy's like, "Yes, son, way to go." I mean, right? Listen, C ain't good enough. A B ain't good enough. 99 is not good enough. 100% perfection is required. Right? And so he said, if you want to keep the law and be saved, then you would have to be 100% successful. You would have never have had to break the law, which you couldn't because you were born a sinner. But then even if that wasn't the case, if you could have lived perfect, and you haven't, right? But even if you could have, or even if you didn't, if you said today, I'm going to from this day forward, then now you're a fool for thinking that, right? So he says, look, you had to be 100%, and none of us have done that. No matter what your mama tells you, buddy, you ain't perfect. And I know some of you dudes' mamas told you that all your life. Your wives had to beat that out of you. You're not perfect. We've all repeatedly broken the law over and over in our heart and in our action, right? Repeatedly, we've not loved God with our whole heart, soul, mind, and strength. We've not loved our neighbors ourselves, so we're damned and doomed if it comes down to performance and keeping the law in our own merit. Because it's 100% and we blew it, right? And so Paul quotes Deuteronomy then to help us to understand this whole thing about descending and ascending. Because you read it and you're like, huh? He quotes Deuteronomy to help us understand it's always been by grace. He says, the righteousness by faith says you don't say in your heart who will ascend to heaven or who will descend to the abyss. And you go, what? This is Jewish phrases that really what they mean when they would say that, it's like idioms and phrases that we use. They're talking about things that are impossible. Who will ascend to heaven? Well, nobody's going to ascend to heaven, on our own effort. Who's going to descend? And nobody's going to descend. He's talking about things that are impossible. And so what he's talking about is you Jews are talking about the thing that's impossible. Trying to keep the law to be saved, it's impossible. You can't do it, right? You don't have to ascend. Don't think you got to ascend to heaven. In other words, to bring Christ down, because God's already done that. Don't think you have to descend, bring him up from the dead. God's already done that. In other words, he's saying you don't have to do the impossible. Jesus already did. Jesus already did it. He did it for you. It's not your work, it is his work. You don't have to do it. It's not about what you do, it's about what Jesus did, right?